to do a reading lesson where we identify the lesson that the author is trying to teach us through the story. Another word for this is called the moral of the story. Okay? So before we even begin reading, I'm going to give you a story that happened early in the classroom, and I want a few hands, a few volunteers to help me figure out what the moral of the story is. Okay? So here is the scenario for the story. Miss Ellis has told her scholars that the 3 highest scholars who perform well on their math tests given in the categories of reading, math, and language will be invited for a delicious dinner at Cheesecake Factory. Follow me?
Yes.
All right. So we fast forward to last week, or rewind to last week, and Miss Ellis gets the data back, and she identifies that there are 3 scholars who she is ready to give permission slips to be able to go to the Cheesecake Factory. Number 1, we had Donovan, who scored 27 points in the reading category. We have Mulani, who scored 28 points in the math category. And then we had Montarius, who scored, Ariel, who scored 27 points in the category of language. So, as the day goes on yesterday, Miss Ellis is getting permission slips together and monitoring the behavior. One of the scholars could not live up to the expectations, so he was unfortunately not invited, and Miss Ellis had to call for a substitute. Now, a substitute was another scholar who also did really, really well in the reading department. So Miss Ellis called for Montarius. Miss Ellis wrote the permission slips out. They took them home. Their parents said, great, yes, we agree that these children may go with you to the Cheesecake Factory. Here we are today. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and we do homework check, and my 2 homework monitors, they come over, and they tell me that these 7 people did not complete their homework. Now, not only one, but 2 of the chosen scholars decided not to complete all of their homework. This was very disappointing to Miss Ellis, so disappointing that she decided that she could not let them go on the trip because there were other deserving scholars, and we needed to make it known that homework is incredibly important. It is how you practice what you have learned in the classroom. So she decided that she was going to call on some more subs. But before she did that, she made a point to tell the scholars that they were unfortunately not invited anymore, and she also reached out to their parents. Now, there are 2 more scholars who are going to be subs for those scholars who did not complete their homework because they also did really, 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 really well on the math test and show how dedicated they were to the learning process. Now, if we go back to what the moral of the story is, which is to identify the lesson that the author, in this case, I'm your author, is trying to teach you through the story, what would be the moral of this story that took about 3 minutes to tell you? Jaleesa.
The moral of the story
I like that we have support going on in the back over there. The people in this area are being supportive. You said it a little louder, please.
the moral of the story is the author trying to tell you the mistake you go in when I was not doing this when he gets home and you have substitute and then the other you have 2 more people.
Okay, so I had 3 original people, then I called in for substitute. But what is the lesson that we learned from this story about, I don't want to give it away, Jacinia, what do you have? What is the lesson that you learned out of the story that I gave? I had 3 people who worked really hard this year and learned a lot and were able to show that on the map test, but then they fell short in their responsibility of completing their homework. So what is the lesson that they learned today? To complete their homework. What else? Aleda.
So, if you want to do something and you earn it, you can't not do something after you earn it.
So when you earn something, you have to keep doing what you did to earn it. Antoine? Got some support going on as Antoine thinks about his answer. I'm going to give you about 7 more seconds and then I'm going to call for your partner over here to help you, okay? All right. All right, now we're going to give Donovan to help you. And if you think about what you had in mind first, we'll come back to you, okay? All right, let's all track Donovan.
The lesson we learned was to keep things good and do your homework.
To keep up the great behavior and to complete all of the work that's required of you, okay? All right, Sharon, I'm going to go Sharon, and then we're going to start reading our short text.
So, homework is you got to do your homework. If they say you go to college, take an education.
Very good. All right. All right, Antoine, just because I said I was going to come back to you, I'm going to honor that and come back to you. Okay, go ahead. Beautiful. All right, so the short story that we're going to read first is called The Grasshopper and the Ant. And that is not correct. The short story that we're going to begin with is The Lion and the Mouse. All right. So what's going to happen is you are going to follow me so closely as you always do that when I stop, you're going to know that that's your chorus word, and we're all going to say it, read it together like we usually do when I stop and give you the opportunity to read along to make sure that you are following along with me. Right, Antoine? That's right, Kevin, right? All right. So everybody sitting in scholar position with the paper in front of them. Their pointer finger is on the letter A, which is the first word of this story. I'm checking for those fingers. I see James is there. Jacinia is there. I'm waiting for 100% of my scholars to be there. Finger on the A to make sure that you are there. All right. Here we go. A lion lay asleep in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose. Woken from the nap, the lion laid his huge paw angrily on the tiny creature to kill her. "Spare me," begged the poor mouse. "Please let me go, and someday I will surely repay you." The lion was so amused at the idea of the little mouse being able to help the king of beasts that he lifted up his paw and let her go. Some weeks later, the lion was caught in a net. The hunters who desired to carry the lion alive to their king tied him to a tree while they went in search of a wagon to carry him. Just then, the little mouse happened to pass by, and seeing the lion's gone away the rope of the net, freeing the lion. You have helped me, and now I have returned the favor. Was I not right? Even a mouse can help a lion, said the little mouse. All right. So, in the beginning of the story, it's a very short story. How did the lion feel about the mouse? Randy.
Sad for him.
In the beginning of the story, how did the lion feel about the mouse? I want you to find it in your text where it says he felt sad for him. I'm only talking to Randy because that's the answer that he gave. If you have a different answer, you can keep your hand up and I'll come to you. Look into your text to figure out how did the lion, feel about the mouse? Destiny. Why did he feel angry?
Because he stepped on his mouse.
Okay. And what did the mouse have to beg of the lion? He begged him for something, James.
For doing another favor for the lion.
Okay, let's go back to the second paragraph. Look into your text. What is the mouse begging the lion for, Nakia?
Freedom.
For freedom. He is asking him not to blank him. What is that word, Zanaya? Not to kill him. And what did he say? And what does the third sentence say in the second paragraph? If you're not on the right page, I cannot call on you. In the second paragraph, third sentence, what did the mouse say to the lion? Michaela. Now he'll read the whole sentence. That's part of the end. Go down to the second paragraph. Yes. Go to the third sentence. Beg.
The poor mouse, please let me go, and someday I will
Surely.
surely repay.
So, the third sentence that I was looking for is, please let me go, and someday I will surely repay you. This is what the mouse says to the lion. And if we fast forward towards the end of the story, how did the mouse repay the lion? Monterey. He saved him. He saved his life. So, what, if you had to think of the moral of the story, the lesson that the author wanted you to learn this story, what would it be? Take 2 minutes to turn and talk to a neighbor. Go. I am going to come to Andrea's group. I am going to come to Zanaya's group. And I am going to come to Deontay's group. You have about 45 seconds.
What is a mouse compared to a lion? So, what lesson are we learning? That little people can save big people.
So, pretty good.
Some little animals can save big animals. And that's why he have
Yeah, I need you guys to come. We need to share out in about 30 seconds.
So I get what you're trying to say. You trying to say so the mouse can get his freedom.
What did you guys come up with? first. What was you sharing with her? So obviously the mouse is small and the lion is big. And initially, right, the lion is kind of not wanting to be bothered with the mouse. How did that change in the story?
Because the mouse helped them out to get out the thing, and then the lion, I read the whole story.
Okay, so
And then the lion has scared has scared the
finding it text.
catchers.
Okay.
Scared the catchers off so they won't get them. And then they ran back where they came from.
Okay, so what is the lesson that we get from this story?
A lesson that we get from the story. A lesson that we get from the story is when you find out the text in the story. Why are you looking at me?
Because you're speaking.
I'm talking about her. I don't know.
All right, Kevin, I'm gonna come back to you, okay? All right. So track me so that I know that. What do you think is the lesson of the story? What is the moral of the story? Excellent. Very good response. Just because someone is smaller than you, you don't count them out. They may have an ability, like he said, that you don't have. In that moment, the lion could not save himself, but the mouse could help him out. Did Nikia's group want to add anything to that?
I do.
You okay? Anybody in your group? All right, and then our group over here, did you guys have any ideas? Go ahead.
Some creatures that's little, they can help other animals that's bigger than them. They got different strength than other animals.
Very good. Jacinia?
The little it is, it doesn't matter if it's little, it doesn't matter. If it's big, it's still stronger than other big animals.
Very good. All right, those are all the responses I'm going to take. And we're going to record on our graphic organizer. The moral of the story is, even if the animal or person is smaller that does not limit their abilities. All right, the next story we're going to read to find the moral of the story after you get a chance to write this down, so take about 15 seconds to write this down, is The Ant and the Grasshopper. No, that's fine, because it's like